Senator Rick Scott has created today his own GOP agenda. He declares only two genders exist, and he wants a Trump memorial wall. Dear America, Florida's sorry. We know the infamous Florida man is a fun joke for all of you, but now one of them is in the Senate and having megalomaniacal delusions. Since Mitch McConnell refuses to release a Republican platform of his own for if the GOP takes control of Washington again, he hasn't prepared for that yet. Governor Voldemort himself, Rick Scott, has released, I won't tell the other joke, has released his 31-page dissertation or manifesto, right, on why America is being destroyed, offers 11 policy points he would like to introduce. They not only include standard GOP talking points like decentralizing the U.S. government, but also some forays into pandering to the far right with social issues. Such policies include forcing students to say the Pledge of Allegiance and stand for the National Anthem because we must foster national unity. That's a quote. They will also be taught that they must love America, and they'll be forced to, and that no class of people have been oppressed, and we'll educate that. He also insists that the government will finish the southern border wall, and you guessed it, we're going to name it after Donald Trump. He also vows to protect the American family, and part of that protection is by requiring all government agencies to only recognize binary genders and disallow people from transitioning completely because, quote, humans are born male and female. There are only two genders, and to deny that is to deny science, end quote. That's called gaslighting. Apparently, the GOP continues to not understand that science has shown that there are a minimum of 6 combinations of X and Y chromosomes that can exist in adults. Our friend, Lord Voldemort.
I thought this was a joke. When I first read this, I was like, okay, this is some kind of meme or something like that. You know, Rick Scott, the same guy who used Medicare fraud to build his political empire, and he's doing something like this, and people are listening. People are actually listening to these 11 points like as, okay, yeah, let's do it. That's disgusting.
And like Al said, we were jumped in at the same time. It's a manifesto.
Yeah.
It's not as dealing with reality at all. It's all back to that fake news. You know, science is science, and the fact that he's making these outright statements as if they're fact is just frightening.
Glenn, but people listen.
Well, that's what's so frightening about this.
And anybody who sees, one or the other, and that's a GOP go-to, and it's kind of a natural human default. But anyone who refuses to see that there's more than A and B it's a sign of a small mind. And national indoctrination is what it is. I mean, not national unity.
I'm curious, do you all think him declaring a GOP manifesto will be successful for him and for the GOP?
And we talked a little bit about this last night. It's scary that people believe what they hear and don't do their own research or choose not to listen at all, so they don't know what's going on. We talked about the Don't Say Gay bill yesterday and how many people, shockingly, know nothing about the bill that's out there. And so if it passes, it may only be because we didn't speak up.
Just imagine that person in middle America just looking at a commercial that's saying, oh, okay, we have to get America back. Right. America's in a bad condition. All right, let's follow what he says, and they'll take his crap for fact.
Right. Well, and I don't think this is really going to gain that much traction, to be honest. He's not a national figure on the scale of like Governor DeSantis or Mitch McConnell. And it's not like, if you can remember, Newt Gingrich's 12 points to save America back in 1994. I just don't think it's going to get that much attention beyond this. And there's a reason is that Mitch McConnell has not released his own plan is because he doesn't have to. Midterms favor the minority, the out of power party. He doesn't need to, and I don't think he wants Rick Scott to say anything. I think he just wants to let the natural course of politics happen and restore the GOP to at least a majority in the House this fall.
It's interesting. What do you think about the observation that Governor or former Governor Senator Scott, that our time that we've been going through in the last couple of years and that we're going through certainly right now is like the 1930s. And Adolf Hitler in 1932 was very much like Rick Scott. He wasn't the dominant voice. Over the next 5 years, he did become the dominant voice. And then when he became the powerful dominant voice, then all hell broke loose. I mean, what do you think about that? And that maybe Scott isn't DeSantis right now, but he's pitching to try to become that. What do you think about that?
Pitching to become DeSantis?
Well, like to become
Pitching
president, like to run for president?
To become, maybe, philosophically Adolf Hitler, because he's advocating, for example, what's wrong with doing the Pledge of Allegiance until you make it mandatory? And the next logical beachhead of this manifesto is, well, how are you going to punish somebody for not doing it in school? We're going to figure out a way to punish it. And that's a logical, you should love America and you should be proud of America, so you should say the Pledge of Allegiance and sing the National Anthem until you don't. And then the crazy becomes the crazy because they make you do it or they punish you. That's how it worked in 1932. That's how Adolf Hitler did it with the Jews.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm 100% in the same ballpark as you. We talked about this before. It's chipping away slowly until it's not that big a deal. You look at Ukraine right now, they're supposedly not attacking all of Ukraine. They're just taking, Crimea or whatever, any of those little pieces. And so it's not that big a deal until you take a bigger chunk. And the same thing goes here when it comes to rights. You take away one, and what's the big deal to take away another? Let's not talk about it in school, so they're now not educated. So now we go back to sexual health. You're not taught about sexual health, you have an increase in HIV and AIDS. All those things have an increase and very powerful reaction to a decision that's made. It isn't just, it's no big deal.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ+